Guys, it's Solange. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so grateful that you can join me again. I know it's been a while, but I am back and I'm going to try my best to be more consistent with uploading my videos. So for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draft the pattern to make this beautiful cropped ruffle bralette. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a straight line to the top of my pattern paper. This will serve as the shoulder line for our basic bodice pattern. I'm then going to take my shoulder measurement, my client's shoulder measurement, divide it by 2 and add half of an inch, and whatever result, I will just place a mark right on the shoulder line. The next thing we're going to do is mark down 9 inches from that shoulder line and square that across with a straight ruler. Again, from the shoulder line, I'm measuring down 16 inches, but you just mark whatever your shoulder to natural waist measurement is. You use that measurement. If you guys need help knowing how to take these measurements, I have a video on that and I will link it in the description below. Now, the same result I got from my shoulder measurement calculation, I'm just placing a mark on the second line, which was the same 8 inches, and I'm going to take my bust measurement, divide it by 4, add 1.5 inches and place a mark on that line as well. My natural waist measurement calculation, divided by 4, add 2 inches and place a mark on the third line. Now I'm going to connect my shoulder measurements straight down as you see there, and I'm going to mark up 1 inch at the square so we can have a curve for the armhole area. Now you can freehand draw this if you don't have any ruler. I usually do that, but I'm trying to get used to using the ruler, so that's why I'm using it in this video. The next thing we're going to do is connect our bust measurement to our waist measurement like so. From there, I'm just going to mark down 1/2 inch from the waist measurement. This is for a seam allowance for when we're connecting the ruffle as seen in the final product. And we're just going to join that together like that. The next step is for us to find the midpoint between those two measurements. So this was 9 inches, so the midpoint is 4.5. This is for us to create where our waistline dart is going to be. Basically creating a princess seam dart. To carry the dart straight up to the armhole for the princess seam, I'm measuring around my arm depth from my shoulder, and I basically got 10.5. So half of that would be 5.25, which I indicated there at the armhole, and just connecting them with a straight line on right there and using a curve or freehand drawing to curve towards the armhole for our princess seam line. Now this little mark I'm indicating here is basically just the midpoint for my bust line. I just wanted to see how it lined up with the princess dart, but it definitely wouldn't really affect the fit you get for the bralette. Now the next step is to determine how low you want the front of your bralette to be. I'm just going to measure down 1 inch below the bust line. So basically going to have like just a 1 inch V neck depth below the bust line because I didn't want it to be too low for the clients. Now what I'm doing here is measuring up 1.5 inches. This is for the chest line. You don't necessarily have to do this for a bralette, but I just wanted you to see exactly that it's not going to affect this pattern or anything of the sort. And I'm marking the midpoint of the chest line as well. Actually, this is going to help me to determine the shape I want for the bralette, because as I was drafting it, I wasn't really sure exactly what style I was going with, but I was just winging it along in my head. Now I took an additional measurement for this client. It is the above the bust to the below the bust measurement. So what I did here is mark up the measurement that I got from above the bust to below the bust. I got 6.5 inches. So the midpoint for that would be the bust line, which we already knew what the bust line is, and I measured up 3.25 inches from there, which is basically half of the above to below bust measurement, and I drew a straight line. The next thing I did was draw the midpoint of that above the bust line, basically the same distance at the chest line, so I just carried up that line, and I'm going to connect the neck depth, which is how low I wanted the bralette to be, with the above the bust midpoint line. I hope that's not too confusing. Then we're going to also do a straight line going across, because I decided I wanted it to be like a sharp kind of triangular bralette. Nothing too difficult. The next step was to add some seam allowance there, because this measurement was exact the amount of how much cleavage we wanted. So I had to add a little bit of allowance there for sewing at the top of the bralette. We had already added 1/2 inch for the bottom of it. And we're almost done, guys, almost there. The next thing I did was add 1/2 inch at the side of the line that I created for my princess seam darts, and 5 inches measured up from the original waistline. Now we're going to just draw in a dot there in a triangular shape as seen here. And we're going to draw in a curved dot from the top allowance line of our bralette, because you don't want any puckering to be there. You want it to fall down nice and flat onto the chest. So just created that dot one time. I was labeling these outside, but time we cut off the pattern, you won't be able to see them from the inside, so of the pattern itself, so sorry about that, but you can go ahead and write them on the inside. And just cutting out the pattern, and just look carefully to see which ones of the lines I'm cutting. So I'm cutting on the seam allowance line, which is above for the bralette, going around to the armhole like normal, and then I'm going to cut at the very end of the seam allowance line for the waist. Now we're just going to make some markings. That's a CF for center front, SF for side front, so that we know exactly which piece belongs to which. And we're going to go ahead and cut out the dots. So just look carefully and just cut exactly as you see me cutting in the video, and everything will be alright. And guys, that's basically it for this. Is the front, both the front and the back pattern When I upload a sewing tutorial video, you would know what I mean exactly when I say this is also the back pattern. There's no need to draft a separate one unless you have extra paper and time, but this is all we need for this tutorial. So this is it, as stated before, for the pattern drafting aspect of this bralette tutorial. Don't forget to check out my next upload. I will be showing you how to utilize this pattern to put it all together to turn it into this beautiful bralette with the ruffled trim at the bottom. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the description box below. Until next time, thank you.